What's up, duelists? Destiny and December, episode 2. We're back on schedule, right on time. Monday, like I promised. Today's Monday, right? Kappa. Anyway, I took a couple days off because it was my birthday, so I hope you guys understand and don't hate me for it. But yeah, this is where we left off. This is the build that we were playing in the last video, and we didn't win a single match, so we're going to have to make some changes. I figured for today's changes, we would actually jump over to the comment section on the previous video, read through all of the comments on the previous video, and then maybe steal some of your ideas and claim them as my own. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Smash like, subscribe if you haven't already. I know there are a lot of you out there who aren't subscribed. I know at least 40% of the people who watch my videos aren't subscribed already. So, all right, let's get into it. So first off, first comment says, I never knew I'd be first to an E3 video. All right, you get a like. And then I never knew I'd be second to an E3 video. All right, you get a like. Very funny. We got comedians in the chat. And we got popping the face down at 2719 would be pretty good personally. Anyway, I'm not going to check the misplay counter or whatever. Anyone telling me to do different misplays. We're here for build advice and build advice only. That being said, the next comment says, see you at rbet Genesis, which of course I have to plug. If you're coming to rbet at Genesis next year, drop a comment below. And if you aren't, sign up while there are still spots. And then of course, if you're coming to rbet Vienna in January, you got to sign up now because there's like 10, 15 spots left, and the mats are starting to look super insane. This is going to be the side event design mat for the rbet Vienna tournament. This is going to be on premium cloth. The main event mat will be shown here shortly in one of the upcoming videos, but this is the side event design done by the incredible, oh my gosh, I'm going to look at his social media real quick because I want to give him Hundo Percento credit. Give me a second. Scrolling back through the messages. I want to make sure you guys know who the artist is. His name's Marcos. That's his name, but I got to get you his his social media, bro. His social media. Hold on. All right, let's see. Let's see. I'm scrolling. One second. Lock in. Look at that beautiful design. Isn't it just beautiful? Okay, let me see. At midnight_dreams. Midnight is spelled Nite. Who has done the art for this beautiful side event mat. So yeah, check him out. Show him some love. This is gonna be one of the, of course, pieces of things you can earn at rbet at Vienna. So yeah, hype. And Genesis is going to have its own unique designs as well. rbet at Genesis. So make sure and lock in. All right, let's go back to the video comments real quick. Bruh, what is going on? There we go. We made it happen. All right, what about running the viruses? If they target Dragoon with a banishing card, you can chain the virus to ensure it reaches the graveyard. That's a great suggestion, Nick. We already were running the viruses, but nonetheless, I think it's a pretty good suggestion to maybe move some of them into the main deck. The viruses do a good job of countering stuff that the opponent can do with either their spells and traps or their little monsters, and it does guarantee that Dragoon will hit the grave. Plus, in this deck, you're starting the game -2. These cards do a lot of heavy lifting to make sure you can kind of balance out that card disadvantage. So some of the cards that underperformed in yesterday's video were going to be Caius and Return from the Different Dimension. I sided them out every single game, so we're going to just snap cut those two cards, and I'm going to put 2 of the viruses into the main deck. So, good suggestion. Thank you for the suggestion. Nick-IO5CQ. You get a thumb up and a heart. Good suggestion. The OG Dragoon from King Silverwing. It is the OG Dragoon. You get a heart for that one. Nick Base says, so hyped for this series. Well, it's just your lucky day, Nick. It's actually continuing, unlike previous series. All right, let's see. True Party King says, came for Dragoon, stayed for Titania. We can always finish the 11 and 12 Nights of Telidad. I believe I've already done 11, but I could be wrong. Says you were going through shit last year. We forgive you for never finishing the 12 Nights of Telidad. I'll give you a thumb up and a heart on these because, yeah, never finishing that series. Says you can definitely play Skill Drain to stop the Caius, plus there is a possibility to play Barbaros for more level 8s. That is interesting. That is an interesting suggestion. Maybe we can try Skill Drain in the side. I really don't love cutting off my own Dragoon's effect, but it is possible Skill Drain does something better than Chalice, so we'll go ahead and cut the Chalice from the sideboard, and I'll add a Barbaros to the side. Another thing that's nice is Barbaros can help us make Gaia with the Miracle Fusion. So it's not just completely useless. We could even consider Zombira as another card that works under Skill Drain pretty well, who is also a virus target and a Rota target and a Warrior Returning Alive target. So we could maybe consider him, and he also makes a fusion, I believe. He makes a last warrior from another planet or something like that. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to adjust the sideboard a little bit. We'll probably cut a Book of Moon. Probably get a Zombira in there. We're going to cut some of these Synchro monsters. We're going to look up that fusion, because I believe the fusion is last warrior from another planet. There you go, yeah. And we can maybe make him with Zombira, and he'll couple well with the skill drain. So good suggestion, Nick. Thank you, Nick, for your suggestion. We'll give you a thumbs up and a heart on that one. This comment says, I am dragooning. All right, looking like top comment material with that level of joke. Average YouTube commenter will definitely find that one hilarious, Kappa. Okay, let's see here. Comment from Brennan, and he's got a lot of suggestions. So let's read through all these. He says, oh boy, Dragoon. This card has won and lost me a lot of elo back in the day. Many of my wins were from destroying Dragon Turbo as the deck hates 3000 defense and scoops to Eradicator. Makes sense. Also, he's surprised it took you so long to mention Eradicator since it has a perfect synergy. It was in the list. It was in the side. What do you mean took me so long? But yeah, it is. I guess when I was building the deck, yes, of course. It has perfect synergy with Dragoon and is such a house of a card. I think it's like pretty strong with Dragoon. I think it's pretty good. It's maybe not as good as everyone thinks it is because you don't just want to shotgun it and like, I don't know. It's kind of this thing where like you start -2, right? And if your opponent just goes brain control on Dragoon, are you going -3 chaining the Eradicator? Like, that doesn't feel great. Actually, -4 because you have to sacrifice the Dragoon too. So it's like your opponent can just play a Smashing Ground or something like that and then make you go to 2 cards and then just OTK you or whatever. So it's not. I think sacrificing the Dragoon is not where I'd love to be, but I understand that the Dragoon can come back. These cards just lose a little bit of effectiveness post-board, Eradicator specifically, because it doesn't hit DD Crow. And they can always chain the DD Crow to the deck dev if they already have it to banish your Dragoon, and it feels kind of bad. So, yeah, I think once the Crows are in the main deck, I don't love the cards, so it puts you in kind of an awkward spot, but that being said, it probably is better game 1. Anyway, turn 1 Eradicator can offset how negative summoning a Dragoon puts you. Yes, sometimes it can. Sometimes it just misses, though, and then you just get rushed down. I cannot recommend enough of trying 3 in the main. Okay, we're not going to try 3 in the main. We're going to try 1 in the main, maybe 2 in the main, but I really don't want to be in a situation where I'm drawing cards that don't do anything. If anything, I would play like Mirror Force or something like that before I play the second Eradicator, but we shall see. We shall see. Maybe we start 2 Eradicator, then we side in the deck devs. We'll figure that out as the deck sort of takes shape. Lucky for you, you went the entire video without getting blown out by the card that is the reason Dragoon is a meta, DD Crow. So DD Crow does hurt this deck for sure, but you can play through it. I mean, like, they have to out the Dragoon and put it in the graveyard first before the DD Crow really comes up. And if you're not actively putting your own Dragoon in the graveyard with, let's say, the virus cards, then the DD Crow is still going to need some amount of time. Like, it's still going to need some amount of effort from your opponent to put the Dragoon in the grave. So, like, the DD Crow is in tandem with another card to answer the Dragoon, at which case it puts you at card parity if you use something like Stratos. It's like you spend 2 cards to make a Dragoon, they spend 2 cards to make to destroy the Dragoon and then banish it. So in that exchange exactly, I'm actually kind of okay with DD Crow with regards to that exchange. You can't even side Iron Wall like Assault Mode can because you remove. Yes, that is true. A really funny tech card is Miracle Dig. It's kind of acts as a 3 of Moss Reborn. I do like Miracle Dig. I don't think it is as good as just playing cards that allow you to make another Dragoon. So, like, I think if we were to play Miracle Dig, we'd probably play it in the Fusion Gate build, which I'm sure someone in the comment section is going to mention. All right, on to the next thing. On paper, at least, you've never seen Dig work in practice. Honest to God, Dragoon decks might need Prohibition in the side for Crow, Caius, and Bryonic. Maybe we should side Prohibition. That's a good suggestion. Let's go ahead and add Prohibition as a 1 of in the side. What are we cutting though? I actually quite like my whole side here. That's a little bit ugly. Maybe with the skill drains we don't need the Light Mirror. So let's cut the Light Mirror and we'll add a Prohibition. Not a bad suggestion. All right. Moving into the rest of the comment, he says, as for the remove from play stuff, you had to run 3 Book of Moon. Yep, I was running 3 Book of Moon in the side, but I cut down to 2 because we don't have a lot of spaces to side in and out. Deep Prison just puts you 2 negative. Brian being a 1-card OTK into your Dragoon also hurts. It's nice to have an answer for. Going ham on Dragoon requires so many monsters and spells. End up with very little defense, so Moon pulling double duty and being used on the opponent's turn to flip synchro material or on other combo pieces was valuable. Okay, so he's right. Book of Moon is really good. I would like to get Book of Moon in the main deck, and I think it may be a little bit better than Burial, but I'm not so sure. Burial is pretty good because if they bottomless or deprison you, not only can it return the Dragoon itself, but it can return any materials that you've already used, and you can wait to do it on your standby phase. But yeah, I don't know. It obviously doesn't stop them from like making Bryonic the same way Book does. So there's possibility that Book of Moon is better here, or it might be better than something like Scapegoat, which is kind of like a meme card with Plasma. I'm not really a Scapegoat Plasma believer. I know a lot of people are, but I'm not really a big -1 into Plasma and hope it gets there type guy, especially game 1 when we don't have the decrees in. So I may end up cutting Scapegoat for 1 copy of Book of Moon in the main. So yeah, 3 Book of Moon makes sense. The deck lives and dies on Stratos, so you have to run 3 E-Call. We are. Okay. I was just double checking to make sure we did in the first. Oops, I accidentally moved the frame. That shouldn't be too much of an issue. Let me double check. All right, we're chilling. All right. Let's see. 3 E-Call, blah, 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 blah. Monk can also be a Stratos. Monk can be a Stratos, but Monk is a -1, so we don't really want to start -3 into Dragoon, and I think 5 Stratos is enough, weirdly enough. Sorry, 6 Stratos? Let's see. Like a soft 6, because we could Rhoda, or we could Future Fusion and then send Stratos, and then Warrior returning alive it. So it's kind of like a soft 6 Stratos. And we have tons of draw, and we're not even playing upstarts. So if I was going to try to play, quote-unquote, more copies of Stratos, I'd probably just lean into the upstarts first before the Monk. You found 4 trade-in, D-draw pretty bad. Interesting. Being a polymerization deck, you're already at the mercy of drawing the correct cards in the right order. No need to make your draws even more situational. You've run 1 D-draw for the memes, and it with all the Stratos to search on bricking. So yeah, I don't really know, because the trade-ins seemed pretty darn good in our games, in the last game. So I'm actually pretty high on them. I think they're probably the way to play the deck. It also is a good way to load up your graveyard for the Destiny and Dragoons Reborns, and it is also a good way to utilize the, how do you say it? It just digs you towards polymerization. Without trade-in, you don't consistently see polymerization turn 1 enough, I think. I do like the 5 draw cards. I think if anything, I would just play more with upstarts, but we don't really have the space. Let's see. As a funny tech card that wasn't game-breaking but put in more work than it should have was Phantom of Chaos. With easy access to Prisma, Fusion, summoning D-Heroes end up in the grave pretty often. Primarily, it was used to normal summon to the virus target to be tributed after running monsters over breaking boards with Plasma and Dogma. The fact that it can copy Plasma to set fuel the grave for late game monster reborn for dead Dragoons or flat out become a Dragoon material is extra sauce. That's a great suggestion. I do like Phantom of Chaos. It would probably take the spot of like Warrior Returning Alive or Fusion Recovery. But I do like the idea of Phantom of Chaos. I especially like it alongside the trade-ins, because like, you know, you discard a Plasma and then you've got Phantom of Chaos, which becomes your Plasma, and it also becomes kind of a removal spell. I quite like that idea. I think if anything, it may fit the build over 1 copy of Warrior Returning Alive, something like that, or over the Fusion Recovery. We'll have to keep it in mind as we keep testing, because I did really like the Fusion Recovery and the Warrior Returning Alives in the last video, but I think the Phantom of Chaos does have some interesting potential with Sky Scourge and Nordalaris, which is something I was considering, which we'll see if someone recommends in the comments below, but you could play a Phantom Sky Scourge build, and then you could polymerization out your Destiny and Dragoon, and then trade in away your Nordalaris, blow up the field, bring back the Dragoon on your standby phase. You get the idea. So sorry, I had to mute the mic. I needed to cough. Yeah, I think that there's merit to this. This is a lot of good suggestions here from Brennan. He's clearly played the deck a lot. Really appreciate comments like that. Shout out to Brennan for this level of in-depth analysis. All right, 2025, Keegan. Destiny and Dragoon is just a 3K Tree Frog. It is, bro. It is. It low-key is. All right, Johnny O, one of your favorite pet decks. I think the deck has some serious potential, and building full-on turbo to the max is the best alongside Virus and other dodge cards like TT and Matter Transporter. Yeah, we're never playing Matter Transporter, but I do like Torrential Tribute quite a bit, maybe even Needle Sealing. Max Plasma and Dogma, plus near max on Poly, which means running few Fusion Sage. Ooh, a few Fusion Sage. Okay, Fusion Sage mentioned. Again, we would probably have to play the Fusion Sage if we weren't running the trade-ins, but I think because we are running the trade-ins, we don't necessarily need as much of the polymerization as we would in other builds. That being said, it's possible we may want to move to Fusion Sage and move away from trade-in, depending on how the build ends up looking. I do think cutting Scapegoat entirely is going to end up happening, but we shall see. We shall see. What else did he say? Max Plasma and Dogma, blah, blah, blah. We read that. Summoner Monk can discard dead Fusion Sages. Yeah, he's given us the Summoner Monk pitch as well. Again, I really don't like going -3 to make a Dragoon. I think that's just too bad. I don't know how to say it. Yes, Stratos makes it up 1, but the Summoner Monk really doesn't do anything beyond that. It's just kind of like a dead card that becomes Shura food. I'm really not a fan. I do like Summoner Monk in other decks that play Greffer or like the Shed deck, for example, because you have other things you can get. Like you can go grab a dragon to unbrick Red Eyes, and then you can OTK someone. And you can Synchro away with the Summoner Monk too, which is nice. In this deck, you can't really do that, so the Summoner Monk just doesn't do anything past the Stratos. And if you have something like Summoner Monk in your hand plus E-Call, it's like you'd rather just E-Call for the Stratos and not even put the Monk into play, and then you have a dead Monk in your hand. Yeah, so I don't love that idea. Add in Miracle Fusions for a 0, and you've got a Powerhouse Conga line. So we've got the Miracle Fusions. He says his Secret Tech Phantom of Chaos. Wow, 2 people with the Secret Tech of Phantom of Chaos. We may need to try Phantom of Chaos out. I actually think that they're cooking with that. It may conflict a little bit with his skill drain package we've got building in the sideboard, but you know what? We'll figure it out. We'll try everything out. All right. No, not December. Dragoon December. No, November. My bad. Dragoon December. That's pretty funny. All right. This card got you back into Yu-Gi-Oh! And straight into Edison Keegan to go. Much appreciated. Much love, Moon. Yeah, I love this card. It's one of my favorites from childhood as well. Haven't watched the video, but Gale Dogra might be a hot inclusion. So yeah, Gale Dogra doesn't work because you'll notice that Gale Dogra says send one extra monster from your extra deck to the graveyard. And theoretically, you're like, oh, that's great. You just send Dragoon, and then you revive Dragoon using his effect. How broken? That's got to be broken, right? Well, wrong, because this monster can't be special summoned from your graveyard unless it was first correctly fusion summoned. And that's the same for Synchro monsters as well. This comes up a lot in Edison format when your Synchro monster is negated by something like Solemn Judgment or Royal Oppression. You can no longer Call of the Haunted that fusion monster. You can no longer bring it back because the correct summoning of it was negated. So it's also the reason why when you Starlight Road and you summon a Stardust Dragon, that Stardust Dragon doesn't come back. It wasn't properly synchro summoned initially, so it can't be special summoned in other ways. It's a weird Yu-Gi-Oh! Ruling, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It actually makes close to 0 sense, but unfortunately it does make it so that Gale Dogra is completely useless here. All right, moving on. May I suggest a Phantom of Chaos route? Wow, can help make return crazy with a Norlara-style shell. A lot of people are suggesting this. Yeah, okay. Cooking. You think it copies monster's name too? So yeah, that works. It does work for polymerization. You don't have to run the Norlara, it's just describing the style of shell you could play. Interesting. 3 people on Phantom of Chaos. We may need to slap Phantom of Chaos in the deck. All right, let's pull him back up real quick. Phantom of Chaos. I'll just put one in for now, and then we'll come back to him. All right. Dude, this is probably slow as hell, but you have a tech for one of the 30-plus days you are doing this challenge. It was never going to be 30-plus days, Lord Fungus. I'm so sorry. It was never going to be 30-plus days. Plasma plus Scrub Raid. You could use Scrub Raid to end your opponent's battle phases. The strategy is probably marginally better than using Relinquish plus Jin. You could synthesize Relinquish and Plasma, maybe not. I've never tried it, but I will be. All right, I'll let you try it first, Lord Fungus, and if you drop another comment down below, I may end up trying it myself. Not me screaming by your phone to add a Scapegoat. Okay, so a lot of people think Scapegoat is good in this deck with Plasma, right? And it's fine. It's like a cheesy one-of, right? But oftentimes the Plasma is not going to be in my hand. It's going to be in the grave because I use it to fuse into Dragoon. That being said, Scapegoat into Plasma does improve our Frog matchup, so It will be a sideboard card, if not a main board card, but it will exist somewhere in the deck. So before everyone loses their mind, all right, let's go Keegan. Get a thumb up for that one. Let's see this one. Ooh, couple of suggestions here. As someone who's played a bunch of Dragoon, your list looks good, but there's definitely something to improve upon if you're open to suggestions. I'm absolutely open to suggestions, Reed. Cutting down on Dogma is a must. Well, this is in direct conflict with the other comments, especially when you have 7/8s in the deck with Titanial. Okay, so we ended up cutting Titanial, so we can kind of ignore that. Titanial ended up getting cut because it ended up being a little bit bricky, and we drew it too many times. Putting Burial in the side is probably the correct call since it serves as a defensive piece against banishing cards, but not a lot of decks are main decking Graveyard Banishing right now. Yes, that being said, a lot of decks are main decking cards like Bottomless Trap Hole and Caius the Shadow Monarch, which Burial is very important at countering. So, yes, you're probably correct. It's probably best to side deck it, but we'll revisit that in the final building section. Something you can consider is Book, since it protects Dragoon from threats like Deep Prison and Bottomless. And that is kind of exactly what I mentioned. We would probably play Book over Burial or Scapegoat in the main. All right, let's see what he says. There are some minor tweaks and things to keep in mind. Running another Ocean if you play E-Call and cutting down one Gaia so you only have two. No need to cut down on one Gaia. We have plenty of space. You can also look at some tech choices like Reckless Greed, though you only recommend it if you decide to run Upstart in place of Trade-In. I don't think you would run Upstart in place of Trade-In. You'd probably run it with Trade-In, but it's a very good start. Yeah, I agree. All right, I'll give you a like and a heart. We may consider the Book suggestion, but I think after we cut Titanial, I'm going to keep Maximum Dogma. From Jonathan Chappell, meow. Shout out to Jonathan Chappell. Much love. Shout out to edisonformat.com and all of the uses we've gotten out of that site as a resource. Should put in 3 Blue Eyes, 3 Caius, 3 Trade-In, and Chaos Sorcerer. That must be a troll comment, but all right, moving up. Got a soft spot for this guy ever since your 10-year-old self pulled an Unlim Ultra copy of him from a Light of Destruction booster, I think. Looking forward to this. Me too. All right, thumbs up. No Mally is criminal here. What? What does Mally do? Am I missing something? Someone's going to have to leave a comment. I don't know what Mally does in this deck. I don't think it does anything. It's just a... It's a Destiny draw target? Like, is that really it? It's an extra brick, I guess. Does it do anything with the Dragoon, I guess? It's not even 2 bodies for Dragoon, because the first one banishes itself. Yeah, that's very confusing, so I don't really understand that one. Alright, you showcase a similar kind of Destiny and Dragoon deck on your channel. You built it more towards the Turbo Vision, but maybe there are some inspirations you can take. Thumbs up. If anyone checks out that link below, show EVN TCG some love. I'll be watching it later, though, not right now. All right, this is the video I've been waiting for. One of my favorite comments. One of my favorite cards. It's lit. All right. Thank you for the comment, Nizzleberry. Really enjoyed the insight into the deck building process. Hopefully you're enjoying the insight into the comment reading process as well. Threatening Roar works well with Ocean. Threatening Roar is probably just worse than Mirror Force, but it is a little chainable. It's not too bad. Used to run Threatening Roar in Ocean Diamond build. Yeah, I think it's a little different of an approach. A little bit more grindy little guy approach than what we're playing here, but I could see it. I could see it maybe working in some capacity because the Dragoon does give you that pop effect. I just think Threatening Roar is truly bad when your Dragoon gets banished and you're already at -2 and then you have another -1. So it's a little bit too scary for me to include, I think, in this type of turbo build. You're always with the Destiny Hero decks. Let's cook. Kind of like the idea of Blade Master being able to pitch himself and be a budget Shura. Blade Master. Destiny Hero Blade Master. During your opponent's battle phase quick effect, you can discard this card. All Destiny Hero monsters you currently control gain 800 attack until the end of this turn. Only during the opponent's battle phase you can discard it. I think he meant to say Kaloot. Unfortunately, it doesn't buff up anything that we're summoning. So, like, doesn't bump up Stratos, Ocean, or Prisma. We're not really summoning Plasma or Dogma. And Destiny and Dragoon actually isn't a Destiny Hero monster. So, it's a cool suggestions card I'm not familiar with. But Doomlord has a nice combo with Necrophase, temporary removal, it skips the battle phase, similar to Dragoons. I'm going to give him a thumbs up. I'll have to look more into the Blade Master, because that's an interesting card. All right, Clock Tower always felt terrible, but maybe we see. Maybe. You know, I'm thinking about this more. This card seems pretty good with Diamond Dude. You can play 3 of this to protect your Diamond Dude, and then just keep getting Diamond Dude flips. It's kind of interesting. I didn't know that card existed. Pretty interesting. All right. If you're worried about targeting the Dragoon, you could try Dark Illusions over the plant package. Pretty much would always play Book of Moon instead or Burial instead. I think you just let him target it and then react accordingly with like the more versatile cards. I think Dark Illusion is just not good enough. If it's top Bottomless Trap Hole, then it may be good enough. Should definitely main Scapegoat just to summon Plasma. All right, another Scapegoat suggestion. So we'll give him some thumbs ups. Moving on. Wondering about the trap that lets you fuse from deck. Okay, Chain Material, that'll be a later video, but keep that in mind. All right, in this video we got Dragooners versus Malicious Edgers. Crazy. That is a cursed comment, but alas, here we are. All right, already looking at Power Tool, DDR, Market the Rose stuff with Dandy. So yeah, DDR doesn't bring back either of these guys, but it would bring back Dragoon if he was banished. So interesting. That being said, Debris Dragon cannot summon Power Tool Dragon because Power Tool Dragon is a machine. So this comment is a little bit off. Let's see. Banger deck, banger vid. I know it's a bit high roll, but what's stopping us from pitching the Destiny Heroes for Dragoon's revival effect with trade in plus Destiny draw, then just Chain Material Fusion gate out multiple? Future video. Keep it in mind. Keep it in mind. All right, moving on. Ooh, lots of suggestions here. Chain Material Fusion gate. Next video. We'll go on to that one for the next video. Do you think you can put Destiny and Dragoon in a Teledad deck to finish the 12 days of Teledad? Way ahead of me, Armando. Way ahead of me. All right, Plasma is good, but Dogma is trash. I think they're both kind of bricky, if I'm being honest. They both feel the same. Potentially just play one. I think it's just too important to have the materials in hand for trade-in and also for the polymerization. But appreciate the suggestion, Golden Armor. When life gives you water, make absolute zero. Shit should be on a t-shirt. Okay. All right. Another meow comment. I think it must be referring to the cat. All right. Woodsman. Woodsman. What does Woodsman do? I don't know what that card does. Once turn during standby, add polymerization from your deck or graveyard to your hand. This guy has to be face up during your standby phase. I will not be adding Woodsman. All right. More plasma oriented with 1 Dogma, 3 Plasma, 3 Swamp. Goats can be fused with. Goats can be fused with. Debris with Swamp is the fastest Black Rose. Debris into Dragoon has got to feel good. Yeah, it's not bad. Debris Dragon is good, but it's only good with Swamp, which we only have four ways to access. The 3 Swamps themselves and 1 Future Fusion. So with only 3 ways to access King of the Swamp, I think, and with the Dandelions being cut from the deck, I think that this is going to have to be for a future version of the deck. No, he didn't have Colossal Arm Game 1. Colossal would have been too big. I guess I prematurely conceded. Diamond Dude, Soul Exchange, Caius. Not really the approach we're going for this build, but maybe a future one. Ancient Forest with Dragoon is pretty cool. That being said, I don't really want an Ancient Forest flip up their Dyna and then be in that situation. I'd rather just blow up the face down Dyna with the Dragoon. All right, Hero Signal. Hero Signal is an interesting card. What does that card do? Let's find out. Hero Signal. I think I've read this card before. When a monster you control is destroyed by battle instead of the graveyard, special summon 1 level 4 or lower elemental hero monster from your hand or deck. We don't have that much that's getting destroyed by battle instead of the graveyard. So, cool suggestion, maybe for a future edition. All right, let's see. Shout out Mr. Tag. Check out Mr. Tag. I usually read the members' comments first, so that's why I've already read this one. It's on the field because pop and burn happen at the same time, right? Referring to the ruling, makes sense. Another unhinged tech. Dragoon plus Level Eater. Make it level 9. Tribute Dragoon with Insect Imitation for Earthbound Immortal Uru. Summon Dragoon next turn. What the fuck? Insect Imitation. Tribute 1 monster. Special summon 1 insect monster from your deck whose level is 1 higher than the tributed monster you have on the field. What the fuck? What does this do? Your opponent's monsters cannot target this card for attacks. This card can attack your opponent directly. Once per turn, you can tribute 1 other monster, then target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls. Take control of the target until the end phase. What the fuck? This is so cursed. I mean, this is cool. This is really cool. This is gonna have to be a future build. Um, that is insane deck building knowledge there from Lord Fungus TV. All right, Sparkman with King of the Swamp get you access to a big amount of fusions. I'm not playing a vanilla, but shout out Sparkman. Let's see this. Played this a couple years ago. Cards to take into account: Dark Illusion and Book of Moon. We'll be playing Book of Moon today and hoping it does well. Scapegoat to summon Plasma. We played Scapegoat yesterday, or not yesterday. I'm saying yesterday like this is daily. You guys know it's not. Kappa. Bro forgot. He commented the day after. All right. Any thoughts on trying Lava Golem in here? Oh, but thank you for the suggestions, I should say. Any thoughts on trying Lava Golem here just for maximum burn? Maybe we'll consider it. Doesn't shut down Dyna or Vanity's Fiend, though, so that's probably not going to be a consideration. Dracooning December, let's go. And that's going to be all the comments. So taking into consideration everything we learned, everyone said to main deck Scapegoat. So I don't think I can cut it, unfortunately. I could side the Burial because we are playing the viruses, and they kind of serve a similar role. So I could side the Burial, but then I'd have to main deck Book of Moon, right? So we'll main deck one of the books, side the Burial. How about that? We are going to side the Prohibition. I think it's probably not good enough, if I'm being honest, but I'm going to try everybody's suggestions out today, and we'll see how they go. The Zombira one, I'm surprised nobody mentioned, because you can make Last Warrior from another planet with King of the Swamp and Polymerization, and you can also use him as a deck devastation target, which is something worth at least trying. And then Phantom of Chaos, we are going to be trying out. I just don't know what I'm going to cut for it. I think I'm going to go cut one Warrior Returning Alive. I think we're just going to try one Warrior Returning Alive, and we'll play the Phantom of Chaos over it instead. And hopefully this will be good enough. All right, the deck looks clean. It looks kind of exactly how we expected it to look. I'm going to go ahead and tag in the Discord and try and find someone to play against. So I'm going to go into the Discord, which you guys can join yourselves. In the description below, there is a link for everyone. If you want to play against me in these videos, for example, or if you want to find other people to play against who aren't your average DB player, then this is a place to do it. And then also, if you want to ask questions about RBET, any sort of E3 Yu-Gi-Oh related stuff, all that good stuff, the Discord is where you get direct communication with the boys and with the team. Pretty much everyone there who works on RBET is in there, and everyone there who works on like this channel and all that stuff is in there as well. So plus all your other favorite Edison creators are probably in there too, and you can annoy them as well. No, I'm just kidding. All right. All right, we're playing against Bruv. Let's go. I'll tell him we're hosting. So good luck, have fun. Episode 2, Destiny and December. If your guys' suggestions don't work out, just know it was your fault and not my own. Kappa. But we are going to be trying everybody's suggestions out today. Well, except for the ones that are completely like change the build dependent, you know. We're going to try out all the suggestions that work specifically for the build, right? All right, let's move on to the rock, paper, scissors with a classic rock. Always start with rock and then never change. Never change. He's going scissors. There's no way. Oh my gosh. There's no way. There's no way we won that. There's no way we shouldn't have won that. That was messed up. All right. We've opened up pretty solid. Phantom of Chaos would have been in place of Warrior Returning Alive. We did brick on the Eradicator a little bit, but you know, we can kind of chill out here. We got Solemn Judgment to chill out. I think there's merit to thinning the deck because there's really there's only so many cards that we can draw to unbreak this hand. Let's count the amount of cards we can draw to unbreak this hand. We got 1, 2, 3, any of the 8 stars really. So 11, 2 more E-calls, 12, 13. There's like 13 cards to unbreak this hand. And then any hero will let us make absolute 0, which is pretty cool. So I'm chilling right now. We got Solemn Judgment, we got Eradicator. I'm going to set both just because we want to get both down as soon as possible and then pass the turn. So yeah, looking a little bit stunted here. The trade-ins, obviously the comments. Oh, that's very annoying. We can run it over with King of the Swamp though, so I'll let him take his hit on the Eradicator here. That's gonna be fine. As long as he doesn't mill Necro Gardener. End phase is chill. Yeah, that's fine. So he's gonna mill 3. I still want to preserve my Solemn Judgment. Jesus fucking Christ, dude. It's like worst case scenario. Yeah, that's like one of the worst cards. We had like a 1 in 3 chance of like digging out of this, but alas. All right, I think we're okay to just chill for a bit. You know, he hit 3 unique names. You got to be kidding me, bro. This matchup's terrible. Game 1. There's Celestia. We're basically forced to sell on this, but I can't afford to lose my cards. We need to draw out of this situation next turn. Otherwise, we lose. If we can establish some absolute zeros, then we'll be okay. Beautiful. Please not Christius Horn. Please. That would be the worst case scenario here. Okay. So we've got Stratos. We can make an absolute zero here, so we're not just cooked. Summon Stratos. Activate Stratos. Go get ourselves the... probably Dogma. Because we're going to trade in here as well. Trade in, pitch Dogma, draw 2. Very nice. Warrior returning alive. Not ideal right now. Maybe I should have grabbed Plasma to copy with Phantom next turn, but copying Dogma will at least allow us to have the live deck devastation. So, yeah, I think it's just we have one play. And it's this, and we die to Honest, which is awesome. So maybe we have to go 0 in defense. Yeah, I think we have to go 0 in defense. And then we'll set deck dev and pass. This is not just Jover. All right, he only has 3 names. Only has 3 names. Monster Reincarnation, Pitch Wolf, Get Back Celestia. It's going to be hard to beat. That's going to be hard to beat. All right, here comes Celestia. Targets the Typhoon and the other card. Sure. All right. I'm going to hit the back row. I'm much happier about him hitting the back row, but... oh, he has Brain Control in the main, in his Twilight deck. With main deck DD Crows. That's sick. All right. I cut the Light Mirrors from my sideboard. Big regret, but we do have Skill Drain, so that's something. We do have Kaiku the Ghost Destroyer as well. And we do have Book of Moon. The viruses seemed pretty bad there, actually. We didn't have the turn one guy, unfortunately. So, yeah, that was a little bit unlucky. We would have had a good turn had he not had, Celestia there. But, yeah, there was no chance we were winning that game. We just fell too far behind too fast, unfortunately. So, yeah, I think I'm going to cut down on some of the cards that don't do anything. Phantom of Chaos is going to be one of those. I think maybe both fire. No, DDV stops. Oh, yeah, it's got to be cut DDV or Eradicator. Eradicator is probably better, at least because it can hit Monster Reincarnation. Yeah, we'll go with Eradicator. I'm going to cut some of the slower cards. Maybe the Fusion Recovery is a little slow. How is this not enough cards to bring in? Dust Shoot's maybe a little low impact, but I'll leave it in here. All the warrior cards. Heavy Storm, Space Typhoon can both get sided out pretty freely here. So, yeah, we got skill drains in. I'm not sure how much heavy lifting the skill drains are going to do. This might be a matchup for Burial over Warrior Returning Alive as well. So I'll swap those two just because he had that main deck DD Crow. That is going to be a little bit difficult for us to deal with. So I think this is a pretty good way things are shaping up. If he shows to be more on the little guy side of things, then we could maybe consider Zombira plus DDVs for the next game. But I think this is pretty good here. All right, so right off the bat, we do have the Stratos turn 1. So we can go for Stratos turn 1, which I'm going to do. I'm going to Stratos search. Stratos will get us Plasma here, most likely. Or it'll actually get us Prisma because he's summonable. Alright, we'll get Prisma. Then I will Future Fusion, and I will reveal the Dragoon. We'll go ahead and send ourselves the Dogma and the Plasma. And then I'll set Book of Moon and set Skill Drain and just basically hope he doesn't have Heavy Storm. There's a 15% chance your opponent starts with Heavy Storm. Looks like he didn't start with Heavy Storm. Might be Decree situation, though, so pretty chill on that. So this is going to be turn 1 on the Future Fusion. I think we can just get aggressive with it. I mean, he hasn't really done anything here, right? So, yeah, we can just attack. See if there's any really reason to do anything otherwise. And, yeah, pass the turn. I like our position quite a bit. So, next turn we get Dragoon. And we can go from there. So, if he has a Typhoon, he's going to want to use it now on the Future Fusion. Then he won't have Typhoon for the drain. Here's Lumina. That's going to be A-okay. Think here. So do we want a skill drain now? I think the answer is yes. I'm going to skill drain now and just see what he's about in his back row. This will force him to choose between Typhooning the Future Fusion and the skill drain. Alright. Looks like he didn't have a way to prevent that. Standby phase. We'll special summon ourselves a Destiny and Dragoon. So, there's that boy. Here's Royal Oppression. You have to oppress the initial activation of Future Fusion. This is the effect resolving. Yeah, okay. Sick. Well, that was a quick game 1. Double Wolf wasn't saving me anyways. Pain. I think we would have been okay regardless because we had enough little guys to summon and beat down. And we had the skill drain kind of blocking him from doing his thing. But that being said, we were able to go first, Future Fusion out the guy. Going second, Royal Oppression is a bitch. And that is very annoying that he does have that card. So maybe we're moving more into the beatdown strat, right? Maybe we're moving more in that direction. Thankfully, we didn't show him too much. I don't know if we can really rely on Eradicator the same way we could rely on something like Space Typhoon going second. As far as our other back row goes, Burial is less useful into Royal Oppression, but still useful into Crow. But because we have the Kaiku the Ghost Destroyers, I think we just need more Oppression outs. So I'm going to bring the Heavy Storm back in going second. And then, yeah, it's just a matter if we want Zambira or Beast King. Zambira can trade with Wolf. Works decently well under Skill Drain. It's a good beatdown card for sure. It's just a good beatdown card. Yeah, this is difficult. This is for sure difficult. I think taking Dust Shoot out and like maybe going towards the Zambira and Beast King route could be good, but Dust Shoot is just such a busted card, so we'll run it back. We'll run it back, and hopefully he doesn't draw Oppression this game. So yeah, it's gonna be a tricky one. They usually do have 2 Oppression, so it doesn't look like our hand is terrible into Oppression, but it doesn't look great into Oppression either. So he's gonna be able to draw 2 mill 2. Thankfully, only 1 name down. Oof. Recharge, charge, and he does have his own Kaiku the Ghost Destroyer. Of course, Twilight does have their own Kaikus. That's another reason to play that Zambira, so we can run over Kaiku the Ghost Destroyer. He's got Lumina. He's going to go Lumina into Jane or whatever the fuck. And then, yeah, we're pretty much cooked if he has a back row. If he has Oppression, I mean, this might just be game. Okay, just 1 back row is fine. We can maybe play through that. And thankfully, no Lila down. He does have 3 names. What can we deduce? That was an insane draw, by the way. What can we deduce from his back row here, or his guys here? All right, we got 1 Honest down, 1 Oppression, 1 Mirror Force down. Necrogardna. Well, this is rough. This is very rough. We can't afford to play into the second Oppression here. So I think we just have to set 3 and pass the turn. We can make a Dragoon, but I want to make sure we can Solemn the Oppression. Okay, switch the Lumina, attacks for 18. Perfectly happy with that happening. That is like kind of okay for us. I'm trying to decide if we want a skill drain. I think we just kind of let this happen, actually. Aluminum mills 3. Yeah, I think this is fine. Mills double JD. Okay, cool. Now we're in a good spot. Now we're in a good spot. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe now we are in a good spot. So let's go ahead and e-call. Let's go grab Strizzy Stratos. We'll summon the Stratos. Activate the effect. Mirror Force is gone, by the way, so that's worth noting here. I think Ocean is the most OP one here for us to search. Yeah, let's go with Ocean. Then I'm gonna King of the Swamp. Pitch King of the Swamp. Go find Polymerization. And then I'll try to activate Polymerization. If he has Royal Oppression, he has to use it now. Okay, so he's going to let this resolve. So we're going to make Destiny and Dragoon. Always summon it in attack versus Light's Horns to play around Aaron. Now the question is, he's got Necro Garnet down. He can defend his Jane. That'll put him to 3 darks for Dad, which is always scary, of course. But I think what we're going to do is we're going to start attacking. I don't think there's really any reason to not do that. So, yeah, let's Stratos attack Lumina. If he negates this attack, then we'll attack Lumina with the Dragoon and not the Jane. If we go to damage here, I'm totally fine trading this with Honest. Looks like he's going to use Necro to maybe go to 3 darks, try to set up for Dark Arm Dragon. Okay, 2 reincarnations being gone. That back row not being used is very interesting. But, again, we don't really have to worry about it too much here, I don't think. I think we can just pass the turn. He'll now be able to Celestia or Caius us, which is pretty good. Don't get me wrong, that's pretty good. Heavy Storm, so yeah, I do have to Solemn Judgment this. We will die to specific combinations of cards here, but Space Typhoon Blind, interesting choice. Hitting the Book of Moon. Alright, that's fine. Book of Moon gets destroyed. We still have our skill drain to prevent whatever the hell this is. He's going to go Summon Plague. Synchro here. That does put him to 4 darks. This is Bryonic. I'm going to ask priority. Just the one. Just the one. Alright, here we chain skill drain. So he lost his, I guess the Book of Moon would have stopped this either way. But, yeah, this is ugly. He can make Colossal in defense, and then we can't even get over it, so. Not ideal, but not game over, I guess. Yeah, this won't kill us, whatever he makes, because skill drain is up, so. It will deal a shitload of damage. There goes the Stratos, passes a turn back. People are wondering maybe why the attack is not buffed. It's because of the skill drain, of course. Heavy Storm and Space Typhoon are both gone. He's draw locked. We have the bigger monster in play. We need to set up for an absolute 0 circumstance here. He's going to take 200. It'll come back. And we will pass the turn. He does play Brain Control. We saw it game 1. There's Lila. Oh, he has Honest. Last card. GG's. GG's, unfortunate. Yeah, so that's kind of the unfortunate part of skill drain is it costs life points, and oftentimes you have to buffer life points. It did also cut us off from being able to use the effect here. I'm not sold on that. You got someone else? Yeah. Cheers. I think Tim wants to play next, so we're gonna play against Tim next. I think of the cards that we tried out, Phantom of Chaos seemed pretty bad. Book of Moon seemed actually pretty good. I liked the Book of Moon a lot. The viruses in the main seemed very questionable. They're only good when you already get the Dragoon, but before you get the Dragoon, they're not that good. So I think I'd rather keep them in the side for matchups where they really like can do something. You know what I mean? The skill drains, the Zombira and the Barbaros. I don't think Barbaros is going to be that good. I think we're going to cut the Barbaros, but Zombira has a little bit of merit because it can turn on the viruses. So I'm going to move some of the viruses to the side. Prohibition seemed a little silly. That was a matchup that had DD Crow, and I didn't want to side in Prohibition because they had Lila. So if I can't side it in against the matchup that like guaranteed has DD Crow, then I'm probably not going to side it at all. I'm going to cut it entirely and move the Eradicator to the sideboard. We now have 2 open main deck slots. The Phantom of Chaos, very questionable. Very, very questionable choice. I think we're going to cut this one as well. It did not seem good. It of course was only one circumstance though, so I'm willing to try it more. I just think that like if it's not going to get us going, then it's probably worse than Monk, and Monk is already a card that I'm electing not to play here. So yeah, we do have 3 open deck slots here. We can maybe move more Book of Moons into the main, or we can try stuff like Mirror Force, just generic good cards. That was kind of my thought process behind using stuff like Caius in the previous one. Something like Bottomless Trap Hole could also be pretty good, just as a way to make sure we don't randomly die, I guess. But yeah, Book of Moons, Bottomless Trap Hole could be considered. I think I missed the Light Mirror for sure. I would have much preferred having Light Mirror there than Skill Drain. But alas, Light Mirror doesn't stop Bryonic, right? So we would have got Bryonic. Kind of hard to say. The Skill Drain didn't seem bad. It didn't seem bad. It actually seemed pretty clutch. I'm going to leave them in the deck. I think that's a strong suggestion overall. Just the rest of it is I don't know. You know, I don't even really know. If we do end up trying out Monk, then we maybe should try more copies of Warrior Returning Alive, just because it's the only way we can really offset that Monk is like spam the Warrior Returning Alive. Or we could go a more synchro-focused route where, like, we could play some 8-star synchros and then play Rose as well. So that might not be terrible, I guess. Let's see. Monk. We've got Summoner Monk. Oh, shoot. I forgot to put Edison format. And we've got Rose. The Warrior of Revenge. We could also use Mist Valley, but he's not a warrior. I wonder if there's a 4-star Dark Tuner that you can summon with Monk. I know you can't summon this with Monk, unfortunately. What was it? Attribute Dark, and then we want Tuner, and then we want level 4 in Edison format. Is there one? No, neither of these you can summon with Monk. Unfortunate. Okay, we will try out the Monk. Enough people suggested it to where we will try it out. I am going to try out Rose as well, just because she's so good with Monk, question mark. Good is maybe not the best word. And then, as for the last card, we are going to try Warrior Returning Alive. I think it has a little bit more power than the Phantom of Chaos in the grind game. And Phantom leaves you just a little bit too exposed and doesn't really work well with Skill Drain. So this way, when we do have Skill Drain, we can go Monk into Rose and at least make Stardust Drain. Then I'm going to cut these 3 fusions. We'll add Colossal Fighter because Colossal Fighter's awesome. Red Dragon Archfiend as a way to deal with other things. And actually, you know what? Fuck Red Dragon. We're not using Red Dragon. We're using Thought Ruler. And we're going to use Dark End. I think that's a good suite here. And then I will keep the Last Warrior from Another Planet just because it's a fun one. It's a fun one for the boys. All right, we're going to play against Tim next with these updates. And one of these days I'm going to win a match with this game. One of these days I'm going to win a match. It's going to happen. I swear. All right, hold up. I'm going to tag fuck, Tim, where's he at? Let's go, Tim. All right, I tagged him. So I think with this, it'll be very unlikely we miss Stratos. And yes, while it is -1 and that does hurt my soul, at least we can make a synchro in case we draw our Stratos before we draw the Monk. So we're going to try out Rose. I think Rose is not a great card. It's always going to be kind of a mid card to bad card, but sometimes doing something is better than doing nothing, even though you could play something with like a little bit higher of a power level, like Fusion Recovery, for example. I think just being able to do something is worth consideration, even if it is at like -1 or whatever. Yeah, and that should be that. Hopefully Tim will join up shortly. Maybe we should do looks like Tim is out. Fuck. All right, we'll tag again. Edison Duelers. Anyone want to play? Need opponent. All right, never mind. Tim is out. In the case of us waiting for another person, we'll do a few test hands to make sure this deck is flowing right, just to keep the excitement rolling. Okay, so this type of hand, right? It's not bad. We got Stratos. This is actually a pretty good hand. I wish I would have drawn like this against Sasha in the last match, but yeah, we would probably find Dogma here and then pitch it to the trade-in. Boom. Trading away the Dogma. Draw 2. That's really not a bad hand. Rhoda, unfortunately, doesn't get us a dark. That's very annoying. So we'd probably just be setting dust, shoot, passing. Dust, shoot the opponent. Stratos dies, maybe. And then here we could Warrior returning the... We drew the second Rhoda target. I guess we still have Rose now, so that's not too bad. Bring the Stratos. Stratos gets us the... whatever the guy is. Probably Plasma now, I guess. So we can have one of each. Trade in. Pitch the Plasma. Draw 2. Very nice. Now we have nothing. That's a really awkward hand. I can't lie. That is a really, really awkward hand. Dang. I'm reassessing my decision on a few of these cards. Maybe Allure of Darkness. Not that good in this deck. Only 7 targets. They are searchable, though. Maybe I should have allured there instead of trade-in. Who knows? Interesting stuff. Interesting stuff for sure. That was a weird hand. Okay, looks like Gappy can play. Sick. I'll host. Shout out Gappy. Alright, we're going to be playing Destiny and Dragoon against, I'm assuming, Quick Draw, because that's what Gappy usually plays, but I know Gappy's been playing a lot of other stuff lately as well, so. Hype! I'm pumped. If I can get a game win, I'll be very happy. Good luck, have fun. Alright. Let's start off with getting a game win. Alright, just a game 1 clean victory. Pick rock a couple times. I'm picking rock again. God damn it. I wonder if the meta is rock, rock, paper. Because lately I've been going rock, 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 paper. But I think rock, rock, paper might be the preemptive meta. It's hard to tell. It's really hard to tell. This hand is kind of awkward, man. It's kind of awkward. Instantly drawing the Rose Warrior of Revenge. Oh my god. This is really rough. Now, this is a matchup we can beat with Destiny and Dragoon. So, like, something like Polymerization off the top here does work. It actually does get us out of this situation. Like, this is not a terrible situation to be in if we can get a Dragoon going. Literally, it's, like, fine if we get a Dragoon going. He's going to bring out 1 Red Eyes and just pass. We just need to make sure we get a Dragoon going right now. Yeah, it's not going to happen. I'll just concede. I'll just concede. Yeah, we were dead there probably turn 2, so. Unlucky. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and side out the Rose and the Monk right off the bat. Book of Moon will help us deal with Drago. Otherwise, side out 1 Warrior returning alive. This is going to be a tough matchup. I got to bring in the other Book of Moon. Assuming it's like Disaster Dragon, Decree's going to be pretty good. Yeah. Decree and maybe Skill Drain or Zombira. He probably plays Warrior Lady as well, so Deck Dev might be good. Let's try these. I think might be a good way for us to handle whatever's coming our way. That was really ugly. All right. This hand is solid. We've got Destiny Draw. I'm actually going to thin the Polymerization first, just because I don't really want to draw another Polymerization. Unfortunate, we would have drawn the 2 best cards in our deck. Why is that always the fucking case? I swear to God. Alright, Destiny Draw, watch. I'm going to draw double Polymerization right now, watch. It's not bad. It could be a lot worse. We'll go ahead and summon Stratos, activate Stratos, go find ourselves the Destiny Hero Dogma, and then we're off to the races. I mean, we've got the Dragoon Decree. So hopefully this is good enough. Maybe it won't be. Maybe it will be. Who knows? There's the Dragoon. And set Decree. Pass the turn. Could have made Absolute Zero. Absolute Zero is kind of good here too. But yeah, about 5 matches in, and we haven't seen Miracle Fusion, which is kind of crazy considering how much draw power this deck has and like deck thinning this deck has. Alas. Maybe this is a Gold Sark deck. Okay, that's really cringe, but it is what it is. He's going to attack the Stratos. We'll take 100 here. End phase, he can reveal his dragon or whatnot. We'll just blow that guy up. No problems. No problems at all blowing that guy up with the Dragoon effect. This is kind of awkward. I really wish I had things to protect my Ocean. Oh, he's just going to reveal. Wow. Reveals debris. Okay, so he's on a different vibe right now. Solemn's good draw. Yeah, I'll just summon Ocean. Run over Dragoon. Or run over Drago with Dragoon. He'll take 1100. Main phase 2. Set Solemn Judgment. Pass the turn. Don't play into Gores. Defend from the normal summon with the Ocean. His hand looked like it was full of summons. He might have Heavy Storm here. He might be just like sandbagging a little bit. Here comes a Debris. That doesn't get over Ocean, so I'll give him a thumbs up. Banish for the Red Eyes. And now I will Solemn Judgment. Oh, there goes the Red Eyes. DDR won't extend the Red Eyes here. And it just gets Debris, so unless he has a second Red Eyes plus DDR, so it'd be 3 kind of cards out of his hand, then we're actually kind of chilling here. Ocean can then add back Stratos, and then we can start getting our stuff online. Double back row means end phase Decree. Draw phase, standby phase, Ocean activates. This will return the Stratos to our hand. Drawing Polymerization is insane. Do we win the game? Do we have the ability to win the game? Yes, we do. Go ahead and summon Stratos. Activate the effect to think on effect. I think we want to do effect to search. Just get the resource. Go ahead and grab Plasma. Why is my cat going fucking bonkers, dude? I don't know what his deal is. Alright. Activate King of the Swamp. This is lethal, so yeah, we can just make Absolute Zero, and he should recognize that, so activate. Boom, boom. If he has Mirror Force Typhoon, he fucking deserves it. But we'll still be able to outgrind with the Dragoon. So tax, and Mirror Force Deprison. Sure. So he takes 25, drops Gores, gets the Gores token. That's totally fine. Run over the token, I believe. Main phase 2. Do we summon the Plasma? I don't know if we summon the Plasma. See, if we summon the Plasma, he has Caius. Last card, Caius. That's annoying. I think this is fine. I think this is fine. I don't think I need to summon the Plasma here. Last card Caius is annoying, but like Zero just beats it. So last card Caius would be really annoying. Okay, it doesn't look like last card Caius here. Just 900 dropping the Stratos. Okay, cool. Sick. Very nice. Very, very nice. Decree put in hella work. He is on Debris Dragon for the Black Rose. Boom. So painful Decree. Yeah, the Decree there was really good. It looks like he is on like those types of cards, so deck dev is a little more appealing as well. I might go Zombira for the maximum deck deving. Although I don't even know if I want to bring in the other deck dev. I might just bring in Zombira on his own to run over Drago as like a Drago beater. That decree was kind of nice. Dust Shoot seems a little low impact. I think we just outclass all his monsters anyway with the Dragoon. So it's more just, can we shut off the back row and beat the Drago? Those are going to be our big hurdles, I think. I might want another decree. Hard to say. Decree over Typhoon, maybe? Really hard to say. All right, let's just run it like this. It might have been cut Scapegoat for Decree, but we shall see. This hand's good. We have Destiny Draw that's live, and we do have the Decree, and we have an out to Drago, so yeah, this hand's fine. It just does the job. We'll probably take some hits here, but Drago locks him just as much as it locks me, so there's that. We'll go ahead and Destiny Draw, discard Plasma. Could have waited to do this to get the Decree up, but I think this is fine. Torrential's not bad. So we can set. We could potentially even summon Ocean and then set Book of Moon as well. But I think I like holding the Ocean for now. I would like for him to play into Torrential before we try to establish Ocean. So, yeah. This is a-okay from us. Yeah, we'll take 19 here. It's not a big deal. Set monster. Okay, reveal Red Eyes. All right. Draw for turn is going to be Typhoon. Pretty good draw. Kind of. Yeah, I'll just pass. Oh, no, wait. We could set Typhoon as well. Yeah, and then we'll just pass. This might be Raikou. He might be looking to flip Raikou. Oh, maybe not. Might be Dandelion then. New back row. I'll hit the new one with Typhoon. It was his Typhoon. Beautiful. Very, very nice. Okay. I think the time has come. We have to normal Ocean. Little unfortunate. Bottomless Trap Hole. We have Book on our Ocean, or we have Torrential Tribute. Or we have Decree. I think we never Decree here, so it's either Book, Torrential, Book or Torrential. I think we'll chain Torrential. I think that's a fine use of Torrential here. It's probably Dandelion set. Yep. So he gets 2 tokens. Set from us. Pass the turn. Something like Tribute Summon Red Eyes could be in our future. We have to solemn that, unfortunately. But just is what it is, you know. There's Tribute Summon Red Eyes. Here comes Solemn again. So that was his normal, and it says 1 day. Back row, draw for turn is Heavy Storm. Jesus Christ, dude. 11 cards deep, no guy. Yeah, Lure of Darkness might not be it. We'll pass. Which had no guy, 11 cards deep. No Stratos, I should say. Here comes Kaiku the Ghost Destroyer. I think I have to Book of Moon that. And just hope that this works. So there's Book on Kaiku. Passes the turn. We draw Prisma. So we finally drew a guy. I'll take it. It's not Stratos, but it is a guy. So I'll normal the Prisma. I'll try to run over his monster. That worked. Thankfully, that worked. We are in the danger zone right now. This is not a position you want to be in. Yikes. Yeah, instant into red med will kill us. We're just dead to that. Maybe he has Fusionist? He's like going for like a debris thing? I don't really know. That was a pretty bad draw from us. I can't lie. Oh, Gale. Okay. Yeah, that's chill, I guess. Didn't activate the Gale. So a little bit of a miss there. He can make this. Let's see. This card, destroy that monster if you do inflict damage. Yep. So we do die to this. This is 2400, right? Or just 17? I think this is 24 because at the start of the damage set. I don't know how this works. I've never used this card in my life. This does matter. It's just 17? Okay. So we'll take 17. Prisma will die because it's destroyed by this effect. It's kind of like Catastrophe, I'm assuming, at the start of the damage step. Okay, cool. We had a chance to get out of it, and we kind of did. I'm going to try to Warrior Returning Alive, target the Plasma. All right. Allure of Darkness. Draw 2. We hit Miracle Fusion. Wow. Okay. I'm at 400. If I King of the Swamp first, it plays around DD Crow, but if he had DD Crow, he would have stopped the Warrior Returning Alive, so. Yeah, well, Miracle Fusion. Banish both our heroes. Special Summon Absolute Zero. I don't feel safe with this, but I believe this can only have higher attack. Yeah, it must be greater than equal to the attack. Okay, so we can attack here with the Absolute Zero. He'll take 100. Pass the turn. All right, we died to like Brain Control and like something 2900 or greater. Brutal. Brutal. GG's. GG's. That was really brutal. We had a heavy storm. Yeah, that was not ideal. So close. Man. GG's. GG's. Well played, well played, well played. Game 2, you had nothing you could do. But game 3, you had things you could do when it matters. Haha. Alright. GG's, GG's. Yeah, we didn't get to summon Dragoon in game 1 or game 3 there, so that is how it goes. That is how it goes. Maybe we need less interactive cards like Book of Moon and more ways to just find the Dragoon pieces, like more Prismas, more fusion recoveries, more that sort of thing. Fusion Sages even. Yeah, I was not really impressed with the Book of Moon in that match. It felt necessary because if he had Drago, then like what are we gonna do? But yeah, both times we had it, we didn't even really need it. So I don't know. That was a weird match. That was a weird episode. I think we're gonna end it here. Unfortunately, we have yet to get a win with this deck. I'm going to think about it a lot more. I'm going to read your comments for next time as well. So if you want to leave a comment with some suggestions about the configuration. What I'm looking at here is like Scapegoat, Book of Moon, Allure. These all felt kind of bad. They all felt kind of weak. That being said, Book with Decree is decent. I don't know. We never drew Dust Shoot, but it might also be kind of not what we're trying to do, even though it can take DD Crow. So Dust Shoot might be more of a sideboard card. And then the Monk and the Rose Warrior thing, it seemed like a bad suggestion. So we've got like 6, maybe 7 deck slots to really work with. The Warrior Returning Alive has performed. I actually think it might be a mandatory 2 of. I might keep that guy in there just because like it's good to bring back anything really that we send to the graveyard. So that's cool. And then Book of Moon being able to defend Ocean is a strong consideration for us just maxing out the Book of Moons and like being a max Book of Moon deck. So like something like cut Scapegoat, cut Allure, cut Dust Shoot, cut Rose Warrior, cut Monk. Maybe keep Monk, but then go up on Book of Moon and then play the Burial as well, and then play keep playing the Monk, I guess, because he's out here. And man, he just sucks so much if you already find Stratos. But I guess him getting Ocean and then us being able to defend Ocean is cool with Book of Moon. So that's interesting. And then we can maybe main one virus or something like that, or main Zombira, just some counter offense stuff that could help us stabilize, I guess. But yeah, I think the Book of Moons felt pretty bad because they were only good once we had the dude, and we needed like multiples of them. Like, it was very easy for the opponent to just like amass pressure that could deal with the ocean. And once he knew we were on Decree, he knew that he could kind of get away with playing into whatever. So maybe Mirror Force as another way to defend the ocean, just like as a counterbalance to the Book of Moons. I could see something like this working maybe a little bit better. But that's where we'll start for episode 3. Thank you guys for tuning in. Longer episode today, but once again, if you haven't already signed up for the RBETs, spots are moving quick for them. And if they do well, then maybe we'll announce another one soon. See you guys in the next vid. Peace.